Here's a story of Donald Trump talking about how he was just like any other kid starting out. School of hard knocks. He didn't have everything handed to him on a platter. Things may have been loaned to him on a platter. Here is Donald Trump speaking to Matt Lauer on the Today Show.
Decided here, this is Jill Casey, mother of two, registered Republican.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Trump, with the exception of your family, have you ever been told no?
Oh, many times. I've been told no by him. No, many times. I mean, my whole life really has been a no, and I fought through it. I have been, and I talk about it. It's not been easy for me. It has not been easy for me. And, I started off in Brooklyn. My father gave me a small loan of $1 million. I came into Manhattan, and I had to pay him back, and I had to pay him back with interest. But I came into Manhattan, I started buying up properties, and I did great. And then I built the Grand Hyatt, and I got involved with the convention. So I did a good job. But I was always told that would never work. Even my father, he said, you don't want to go to Manhattan. That's not our territory. Because he was from Brooklyn and Queens, where we did, smaller things. And he said, don't go to Manhattan. That's not our territory. But he was very proud of me. But all my life, I was told no. Even for this. I mean, they said, oh, what do you want to do it for? Don't do it. Don't do it. You're against professional politicians. So far, I'm not impressed. I will tell you that.
By the way, let's just put this in perspective. You said it hasn't been easy for you, but my dad gave me $1 million loan.
Did.
That probably is going to seem pretty easy to a lot of people.
Right. But $1 million isn't very much compared to what I built. Right. I mean, I built one of the great companies. And
what are you talking about?
This could be Trump's Romney moment, right? I mean, this is like the Romneys talking about, like, we started out with nothing. We started out with nothing. We were living in an apartment in Boston as I was going to business school, living on nothing but the stock that my dad had given us that was worth, well, in today's dollars, maybe $200,000. But that was virtually nothing relative to what we were used to. And of course, for Donald Trump's perspective, $1 million loan, he probably got, I wonder what the rate was, right? I mean, because if you get an interest rate, particularly at that point, back then, I think this is the early 80s, late 70s. I mean, the interest rates, people don't realize this, or people do realize this, but younger people don't. Now the interest rates are like down around like you get a loan mortgage for, I don't know, 4%, 4.5%, 3.5%, depends on where you are or what you're buying. Loans at that time were 10, 15, 20%. And so if you get loaned $1 million at 3%, he could just turn around and arbitrage. I mean, that's basically what the banks have done since 2008. We've loaned them billions and trillions, maybe, with no interest. They just loan it to somebody else and then pay us back. You're giving them money. So the idea that Donald Trump perceives $1 million 30 or 40 years ago to be virtually nothing. That it doesn't, like, when he brings that up, the next thing that follows is like, and I realize I was incredibly privileged that I had a head start, and even more than a head start, than 99.999% of the people in this country. Never mind that, my education was paid for and all this thing. I never mind that I could afford to take risks because I knew if I couldn't pay back that $1 million, I wouldn't go to jail. The worst case scenario is that I go and I work for my dad. Or even worse than that, I've got to go work for somebody else that he gets me a job with. And I don't turn into a billionaire. That was the worst case scenario for Donald Trump. I took risks. No, there's no risks, really. When your safety net is literally like a foot below you. Like so much so that you don't even have to fall. You just like, oh, I took one step and back up. Look at me. I lifted myself back up.
At least he didn't say, if I was a Puerto Rican guy from Eastern New York, I would already be president.
Right.
So he didn't quite take it to Mitt Romney territory.
No, he didn't take it to Mitt Romney. Yeah. He didn't quite get to Mitt Romney, but there's still time.
Imagine if I was Dominican, second term. They've
I'd
been
rather-
revising the Constitution. Forgive
That's
me
right.
more.
Just remember, if Mitt Romney had been, if only his family had stayed in Mexico, he'd be enjoying his third term now.
How many house servants did Donald Trump have when he got that loan? I don't know. I only had one. I had a small little fixer-upper in Newton.